because at the end of the day, you know, it is like we gotta overcome these challenges. You know, we have to do these conversations. If people feel uncomfortable, that's good, because if you don't feel uncomfortable, you're not gonna grow as an individual. You know.
Yeah, it's just sad to like be a student here and figure out that happens.
And I'm really upset about the people who are trying to defend them. So I know a lot of people who are saying they want to hear their side of the story, they want to hear why they said these things, blaming it on them being drunk, but that's not the issue here.
I guess I'd say that what has happened today should shake people up in this room, because if this is who you think we are as a community, we should be really troubled.
Now, Citrus TV News Live at 6 starts with breaking news.
Outrage continues following the suspension of the Syracuse chapter of fraternity Theta Tau. A video released yesterday shows fraternity members using highly offensive language targeting several minority and ethnic groups. Good evening, I'm Conor Wight.
And I'm Jack Watson. Details about the video, which had yet to be released, spurred a massive student protest yesterday that began outside Chancellor Kent Severud's house and ended at Hendricks Chapel.
There, members of the SU community discussed the impacts of the video and whether or not it should be released. A receptionist at Theta Tau's national office says officials have been flying into Syracuse today to investigate. The Theta Tau website has since been taken down.
Students expressed disgust with the alleged contents of the video, and some called for the expulsion of Theta Tau members. The Daily Orange released the video late last night. The video currently has over 300,000 views. Citrus TV has chosen not to publish the video due to its vulgar and indecent nature.
We now go live to Citrus TV reporter Anna Azallion, who is outside the Theta Tau fraternity, with more on the events that unfolded yesterday. Anna?
Good evening, Jack and Conor. Like you said, I'm live outside Theta Tau, a professional fraternity here at SU for engineering students, and they were actually suspended yesterday. This happened because the administration received reports of a video in which pledges and members of Theta Tau were using slurs against minorities. Now, in response to this incident, students at SU organized a number of meetings yesterday to discuss the incident and the greater issue of diversity here at SU. The first meeting took place at 2:30 at Hendricks Chapel. After that, there was a University Senate meeting at 4. Following that, students protested here at Theta Tau as well as at the Chancellor's house, and they walked all the way to Hendricks Chapel, where there was another meeting at 7 p.m. for more discussion about the incident. And I actually went to these meetings and spoke with students about their response to the incident. SU students took to different parts of campus yesterday to protest actions of a professional fraternity for engineering students on campus. Members of the fraternity Theta Tau alluded to several minorities using slurs in a video of what the Theta Tau national Facebook page says was not a hazing ritual.
When I first heard about what happened, sadly I wasn't surprised about it, just because, this isn't the first time something like this has happened. Like, I hear stories all the time.
Theta Tau was suspended yesterday after the Chancellor heard about the incident. During 2 separate events at Hendricks Chapel, students expressed their disappointment with the university's response so far.
A suspension might be like a slap on the wrist for them. Like, they'll come back after their suspension and think it's still okay to do that stuff.
After hearing from students at Hendricks Chapel, Chancellor Kent Severud moved on to Maxwell for the University Senate meeting. Straying from the previously scheduled agenda, Severud began by addressing the Theta Tau incident.
I think what happened today was first an effort to communicate quickly the facts as we were aware of them. That's one thing we learned I've learned from the past, is that slowness in communicating and thinking first of public relations rather than transparency is a problem.
One senator introduced a resolution on the incident. Some senators, however, thought it was too vague and inappropriate to do anything further without following the usual procedure, which involves hearings among other steps.
It's taken an immediate action of suspending the organization, and to do anything further without having actually had hearings and giving them an opportunity to present their side would just be premature and inappropriate.
Multiple students spoke at the meeting, expressing their concerns and what they want to be done.
You know what I don't understand? You tell us that there needs to be a formal investigation, yet the video is out there. The video is out there with all the proof that you need, that these people are violating everything that you guys say that the school represents.
After at least 20 minutes of discussion, the students at the meeting walked out and moved on to the Chancellor's house to protest. Students expressed their concerns and frustrations at these protests, and at a meeting at Hendricks Chapel that evening.
And I'm really upset about the people who are trying to defend them. So I know a lot of people who are saying they want to hear their side of the story. They want to hear why they said these things, blaming it on them being drunk. But that's not the issue here. And this is also not an isolated incident. This happens so much on this campus and people don't know about it.
Syverud took notes at the 2:30 p.m. meeting on what students wanted to see done. He presented some of these ideas at the Senate meeting.
So the question I'm taking from this afternoon is what steps can happen fairly promptly that are not business as usual in response to what we've learned. I don't want to say what those would be because in some ways it's disrespectful for what I expect to learn still today, including in conversations and hearing from people later today.
Syverud did not attend the second meeting at Hendricks Chapel, which took place after the Senate meeting. Many students took notice of this and asked, "Where's Kent?" Now, Syverud was not at the second meeting at Hendricks Chapel at 7 p.m., and students were very unhappy about this. They're also generally unhappy with his response to the incident. Now, the biggest thing that students want the university to do, they want the frat to be more than just suspended. They want that Theta Tau sign taken off of the house, and they want students expelled for this incident. Now, students felt that this incident was not isolated, that there was more that was happening. When we spoke with the incoming SA president and vice president, here's what they had to say.
The thing is that, there's a comment about how the problem did not start in Greek life. It's just an example of it, and that is so valid and that's so true. But just because that's not the only place where there's a problem, or that problem didn't originate there, does not mean that it doesn't need to be addressed there, because this happened multiple times, and that's I think an audit is necessary, because it's not everybody in Greek life is racist, homophobic, anti-Semitic, sexist, but there is a presence in Greek life, and we shouldn't just ignore it just because it's not all of Greek life.
The large majority of our campus and a large majority of those marginalized students are in Greek life, and they deserve to just know what's happening.
Talking points of the Hendricks Chapel meetings.
Now, the biggest theme was that students wanted the university to release the video of the Theta Tau incident. They even started a hashtag, release the video. Now, late last night, the video was released, but it was not by the university. Another theme that students were saying at the Hendricks Chapel meetings were that this is not an isolated incident, that there's a bigger theme of discrimination on our campus that they want to address. The biggest thing they wanted to do was change the culture at our campus and really fix this issue. Now, Nicole DeMentri will have more at the Chancellor's house later on in the show. For now, I'm Anna Azallion reporting live outside Theta Tau. Back to you guys in studio.
Thanks, Anna. We will have more information on the Theta Tau story later in the show.
While most of the University Senate's meeting last night was focused on the suspension of Theta Tau, some other matters were also addressed. Most significantly, the Senate voted to ban all sexual relationships between faculty and undergraduate students. While some faculty members disagreed with the decision, most seemed to favor the ban. And a women's entrepreneurship organization held a symposium at Sky Armory yesterday. CitrusTV's Adam Unger went to the event to see how business owners pay it forward to one another.
The Women Igniting the Spirit of Entrepreneurship, or WISE, held their 16th annual symposium at Sky Armory on Wednesday. Both men and women in business and those looking to start businesses were welcome to hear from speakers like Rick Tamlin. The leadership coach and author says he's always been invested in the prosperity of others.
And I was fascinated by people who were creative and all of a sudden became successful. So I had this sort of success obsession. What makes people successful?
Tamlin emphasizes the playing of a bigger game, a game designed by the conversations we have with ourselves and with others. He spoke at the symposium to inspire his audience to bring their work and their joy together.
We start to collapse, my passion needs to become my business. So for some people, we get to do that. And that takes guts. People open up restaurants and start companies, and I'm in an entrepreneurial weekend here, right? That's what we're trying to help people do, is bring the passion together, into a business.
And with the help of the symposium and speakers like Tamlin, attendees can go from being audience members to tabling as a sponsor for the event. And that's exactly how it happened for Leslie Imus.
Income follows personal growth. So self-care isn't selfish. Self-care and growth is in your best interest in all areas of your life, especially business. Attending this workshop several years ago for me was my personal growth, and boom, off I went.
So
The symposium takes place every April, where new business owners can learn, interact, and set goals. And people that have reached theirs just pay it forward. I'm Adam Unger, Citrus TV.
The Syracuse City School District has decided to remove a school resource officer from one of their schools. A district spokesperson said police officer Valon Smith is being removed from Nottingham High School. This comes following his arrest of a student in February 2017 that left a 14-year-old with a broken arm. This follows the Onondaga County District Attorney's Office decision to clear Smith of any wrongdoing. And a local criminal case is finally on its way to court 21 years after it happened. And it's all because of a DNA sample. District Attorney William Fitzpatrick first used the DNA of the alleged perpetrator of a sexual assault crime in 2002. A positive match has now been made between the DNA and the unknown perpetrator. Former Sheriff's Deputy Jack Doolittle was matched after his DNA was entered into the database when he was arrested last year. Doolittle appeared in court on Tuesday.
And Senator Kirsten Gillibrand is calling for an investigation after an upstate farmer says immigration officers stormed his property yesterday. John Collins says the ICE officers went into his milk house without permission and detained one of his workers. Collins says when he tried to film what was happening, he was handcuffed and the officers threw his phone into the street. Collins also says he was not given a warrant. And New York State parolees will regain their voting rights after Governor Andrew Cuomo signed an executive order Wednesday. As many as 35,000 New Yorkers who have served time for felonies will regain their right to vote. Governor Cuomo said nearly 3/4 of those currently on parole in New York are either black or Latino, and this vote will help restore fairness to the democracy. This adds New York to the list of more than a dozen other states that give parolees the right to vote.
And local Democrats are trying to force former Syracuse mayoral candidate Juanita Perez Williams out of the race for Congress. The Onondaga County Democratic Committee filed an objection to the Board of Elections today. They want to have Perez Williams' petition signatures ruled invalid since she launched her campaign only 2 weeks ago. The committee has already endorsed Dana Balter for the 24th district and don't want a primary race. Perez Williams currently has more than double the required signatures to get on the ballot. And students across the country, including in upstate and central New York, are planning walkouts tomorrow to mark the anniversary of Columbine. Students are supposed to walk out of their classrooms for 13 seconds to honor the 13 people killed in the Columbine shooting in 1999. The event is also designed to protest school violence, and students are encouraged to plan talks, rallies, and protests. The National School Walkout is scheduled for 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
And switching gears back to campus, Nicole DeMentri is live outside of Chancellor Kent Severud's house with the details on how the university is responding to the Theta Tau suspension. Nicole? We're currently experiencing technical difficulties. We'll be right back with that, Nicole. And you know, Connor, the past couple of days have been completely hectic when it comes to weather. I mean, we've had snow. It's the middle of April. What's going on?
I don't know. All I know is that I'm not a fan of it. I wish that we could see the spring and the summer sun come out soon. We go now to Citrus TV weather anchor Nicole Weaving with more. Nicole?
Thanks, guys. Well, it really is just been kind of on the chillier side today. It's about 35 degrees outside right now, but feels closer to 29. We've seen some on and off flurries all day today. Don't mind the technical difficulties behind me. As we've seen, this is a week by week thing for me now, but it's definitely been chillier today and is only going to get a little bit colder tonight. And we're seeing some very similar temperatures as well around the area, especially in those low to mid 30s. But I'll tell you, if it's going to get any warmer, we'll start seeing some spring and if any more snow is expected in my full weather forecast.
Thanks a lot, Nicole. Now, the past couple of days, absolutely ridiculous, this weather. It's past my birthday. Generally, when it gets past my birthday, I hope that it gets a little warmer.
Well, my birthday's coming up on May 4th, so hopefully we'll see the sun by then.
Hopefully.
All right, well, I think we have our technical difficulties worked out. We go now to Nicole DeMentri, who is live outside Kent Severud's house. Nicole?
Thanks, Connor and Jack. Like you said, I am live outside of the Chancellor's house right now. As you can see behind me, there are police presence here at the Chancellor's house, as well as some national crews here covering the story. But just a little over 24 hours ago, the Chancellor originally sent out an email suspending Theta Tau, the professional engineering frat here at Syracuse University. And the reasoning behind suspending them, well, he said it was over extremely racist, that's a quote from him, videos that surfaced on the internet. Now, here's a part of the email that he actually did send
send out. It said, quote, videos showing this offensive behavior have surfaced online. They include words and behaviors that are extremely racist, anti-Semitic, homophobic, sexist, and hostile to people with disabilities. He then continued, I am appalled and shaken by this and deeply concerned for all members of our community. Now, following this email, Chancellor Syverud did attend the 2:30, quote, community gathering by the Dean of Hendricks Chapel that happened in Hendricks Chapel as they spoke about the nature of this video. Then there was another one at 7 p.m. which he did not attend. However, today he did attend the rededication of the Shaw Quadrangle over on main campus, but he did not answer any questions.
Now, Nicole, has there been a response from Theta Tau?
Yeah, so Theta Tau did actually release a statement, and here's exactly what they had to say. Now, they released the statement around 2 p.m. on their Facebook wall, and what they said, in quote, was, it was revealed that the video was a parody, skit, or roast of the Active Brothers by a pledge class and not chapter members hazing, humiliating, or disparaging its pledges, as the university had described to our central offices. Now, they did go on to say that they completely condoned everything that happened in that video, and they were going to hand some action to everything that happened in that video later on after this investigation.
And now, Nicole, what has the response from the university been?
Yeah, so the university actually, with things that just happened, the Chancellor Ken Syverud just sent an email out with the title Actions Now Underway, and he said that in the last 36 hours, I've listened to and heard from hundreds of you about our community should best respond. So many of you told me how much you care about this university and what it can be at its best, a place where people from all backgrounds care about each other and learn from each other. And he went on to list a few other things that my colleague Greg Bradbury will mention later on in the broadcast. But here at the university, aside from those meetings in Hendricks Chapel, there will be meetings at every single dorm tonight, as well as on South Campus, that will discuss the nature of everything that happened in this video and have a safe space and an open forum for everyone, as well as engineering students were emailed today that they will also be having a school-wide, college-wide safe space where they could all speak about this as well. They are not going to have classes tomorrow from 12 until 2 p.m. Now, we spoke to some of the protesters right here in this very spot. Protesters came, student protesters mostly, came, and they were asking for not only the Chancellor to release the video, but they were also wanted more action about the different diversity issues here on campus. And this is what one of the protesters had to say.
I hope you hear what we have to say today, and I hope one day maybe you'll realize that you have to love us, and you have to protect us too, because you are a part of this. You are.
Now, Nicole, this has quickly become a national story. What has the reaction been like from outside SU?
So outside of SU, they have a lot of things that are going on. Now, the district attorney's office we did speak to, and they did tell us that they were not going to press any charges. We did also reach out to the Department of Public Safety, which has an ongoing investigation into the matter, and they have not returned any of our comment. As you can see behind us, there are some national crews here, and this has been covered both nationally and internationally. The story has been picked up. So it continues, and the outreach outside of the community continues.
Thanks so much, Nicole. We will continue to follow that. Coming up, Stormy Daniels' lawsuit to get out of her non-disclosure agreement with President Trump could be delayed.
And Cuba has elected a new president. Find out more about the election and the new leader after this. Don't go away.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl.
Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the CitrusTV Newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
The Justice Department sent a criminal referral regarding former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington.
The Inspector General found that McCabe was not honest when talking about the FBI's Clinton Foundation investigation. The Inspector General also said McCabe was not authorized to talk about the existence of the investigation.
These findings led to McCabe's firing last month by Attorney General Jeff Sessions.
And a federal judge in Los Angeles has set a hearing for Friday to discuss the possibility of delaying Stormy Daniels' lawsuit.
Judge S. James Otero scheduled the hearing after attorneys for President Donald Trump and his lawyer Michael Cohen said the lawsuit should be put on hold for 90 days because of the investigation into Cohen.
Daniels filed the lawsuit last month to have her non-disclosure agreement with the president declared invalid.
An ex-Playboy model can now talk about her alleged affair with President Trump. Karen McDougal has reached a settlement with the tabloid publisher American Media Incorporated, ending a lawsuit over the rights of her story in which McDougal alleges she had an affair with President Trump 10 years ago.
American Media Incorporated bought her story for $150,000 in the months before the 2016 presidential election, but never published the story.
This settlement ends one of the two legal battles involving women who say they were paid to stay silent about their alleged affairs with President Trump.
Historic amounts of rain have caused hundreds of people to evacuate homes in Kauai, Hawaii. Multiple landslides and mass floodings have forced families to leave their properties in some of Kauai's remote neighborhoods.
No injuries have been reported, and locals are calling this the worst natural disaster to occur on Kauai since Hurricane Iniki in 1992.
Recovery and relief efforts are underway.
And no charges will be filed in relation to singer Prince's 2016 death. Attorney Mark Metz said in a news conference earlier today that Prince died of an accidental overdose after taking counterfeit Vicodin pills.
Metz says Prince did not know he was taking a counterfeit pill, and there is no evidence to show how he got the pills. This announcement comes nearly 2 years after Prince's death.
And a defamation lawsuit was filed against right-wing media personality Alex Jones yesterday over his false claim that the 2012 Sandy Hook massacre was a hoax.
Jones in the past has said that the shooting was, quote, completely fake and a, quote, giant hoax on his show InfoWars. The lawsuit was filed by the parents of 3 children who were killed in the shooting.
In a video Wednesday, Jones said, quote, "You're allowed to question things in America. That's not defamation," unquote. This is the first time parents have taken action against Jones.
And it's the end of an era in Cuba as Raul Castro steps down as president and hands over leadership to Miguel Diaz-Canel.
This is the first time in nearly 60 years the island nation has a leader from outside the Castro family. Diaz-Canel served as Raul Castro's vice president and was chosen as the unopposed presidential candidate yesterday by the country's National Assembly.
Raul Castro will still serve as the leader of the armed forces and have a final say in important decisions.
And North Korea has dropped the demand that the U.S. remove forces from South Korea.
South Korean President Moon Jae-in says North Korea is allegedly willing to give up their nuclear program while the U.S. maintains their South Korean presence.
This comes after President Trump stated Wednesday that he will be leaving the upcoming summit meeting at North Korea if Kim Jong-un does not meet his expectations.
Coming up, our weather anchor Nicole Weaving has more on the weather. Citrus TV News will be right back.
Got a quarter?
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
And as I mentioned, those temperatures will be dropping a little bit tonight, getting down to a low of 29. But the good thing is that some of these snow flurries we're seeing tonight should stop tomorrow. So as we take a look tonight and into early tomorrow morning. So as we take a look at our Doppler radar, you see some of this snow just moving eastward. And by that point, we see a clear patch. So this is through the rest of tonight and into early hours. But then we see this clear patch, which is what you'll see when you wake up in the morning tomorrow. It'll be about 32 degrees, warming up throughout the day, getting to a higher area of 40 by 6 p.m. And then we'll be getting up to a high of 42 throughout the day. And the good thing is the sun is finally back. Those April showers, some of that snow is gone. But you'll still see it'll still be pretty windy, about 10 to 15 miles per hour that day. And then we have game day on Saturday as the Varello brothers square off. JD will tell you more about that later in the show. But it should be about a high of 49 degrees that day, so no need for an umbrella this time. And the humidity will be down at about 61, so should feel right about what your thermometer is reading. And then to give you a quick update on some wildfires that have been spreading from Colorado Springs all the way down to the southern parts of New Mexico. Even in Oklahoma, what's been dubbed the Ray Fire has burned 440 square miles of area. At least 23 homes have been burned down in that area, and 200 families had to evacuate. And then as we take a look at some of the snowfall for this area, we're at 153 inches this year, and that's about 30 inches above the average. And then as we take a look at our 5-day forecast, that sun is back tomorrow and will stick around throughout the rest of the weekend. It'll be about, and those temperatures you see also getting up a lot warmer into the low 60s even on Monday and Tuesday. And Citrus TV News will be right back.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow?
No.
Snow-covered trees.
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones.
Don't even.
And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. Delta Kappa Alpha is hosting a charity event tomorrow night.
CitrusTV reporter Brendan Tierney is in studio with one of the organizers of the event. Brendan?
Thanks, guys. Joining us now in studio is Salih Rubin, a member of the DKA co-educational filmmaking fraternity here at SU. She's going to tell us a little about their upcoming serious comedy night. Now, Salih, what has gone into planning of this night?
A lot has gone into the planning of this night. We had to pick a venue. The biggest thing was picking the professional group from New York City. It's called 8 Is Never Enough. They're a professional improv group. They work with a lot of really cool places in the city, and then just auditioning student comedy groups and student stand-ups.
Now you mentioned that improv group. How is this year going to be different than previous years of the event?
Previously, we've had groups that have done entirely musical improv, or we had a group that did a shorter set last year from locally. This one is actually coming up from New York City, so they're a little more professional, and they're going to be doing a longer set with less music.
Okay, so what should we expect? A longer set, less music? What should people who are coming out to the event expect?
They can expect to see our student improv groups, some student pre-written groups like After Hours or Humor Horror, and then 6 student stand-ups are going to be performing as well.
Okay, well, tell us a little bit about those acts, what they have planned.
One of them is doing a poem, which is pretty funny that they wrote. I won't give it away. One of them is doing a talk as if they're speaking to children that they're about to get a divorce. And then one of them is going to be a 10-minute set that's just doing improv. It's a bunch of students from the drama department.
Okay, so all comedy, very funny for students to come out and experience?
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. So tickets are on sale in the Schine box office through tomorrow. They'll also be available at the door for $3 each. Salih, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Coming up in sports, a sibling rivalry comes to a head in the Carrier Dome on Saturday when SU lacrosse takes on Navy. Plus, SU women's lacrosse looks for some revenge in Chestnut Hill tonight. News Live at 6. We'll be right back.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent. We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
And now, your CitrusTV Sports Report.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News Live at 6. I'm JD Rachi with sports. Everybody's heard of the Mannings and the Williamses when it comes to sibling rivalries in sports, but how about the Varellos? SU lacrosse face-off specialist Danny Varela will be staring at a familiar face when he heads to the face-off X this weekend versus Navy. His older brother Joe is the fogo for the midshipmen, and John Desco says he's not really sure which Varello has the upper hand.
I don't know where, who has the advantage there. I asked Danny who wins more in the backyard in the summertime, and he just smiled at me. So I guess we're going to have to wait and see what happens during the game.
The Varellos will square off for the first time in their collegiate careers on Saturday at 2 when the 14th ranked midshipmen head to the Carrier Dome to take on the 9th ranked Orange. And while the men's lacrosse team is getting set for Saturday, SU women's lacrosse is out in Massachusetts this afternoon looking for revenge. The number 19 Orange is in Chestnut Hill taking on undefeated and second-ranked Boston College as we speak. Remember, BC eliminated SU from the NCAA tournament a year ago. We're early in the second half right now, 10-9 in favor of Boston College. Emily Harris-Chuck has 2 goals for the Orange, so it should be a great finish down the stretch. We'll have to wait and see if Syracuse can get that revenge from last season's NCAA tournament. And in some pretty big basketball news, we finally know where Matthew Moyer will head to in his next collegiate career move. The former SU forward announced earlier this afternoon that he intends to transfer to Vanderbilt down in the SEC. Moyer announced his intent to transfer a few weeks ago, and Vandy definitely looks like a solid choice for him. The Commodores have one of the best recruiting classes in the country with a pair of top 20 recruits. Remember, though, Moyer will have to sit out next season due to NCAA transfer regulations. And moving over to the Diamond now, both of the Big Apple's baseball teams hit the field tonight. First in the Bronx at 6:30, the up-and-down Yankees try to find some balance against the surging Blue Jays. The two split the opening series of the season at 2 games apiece in Toronto. And then at 7:30, another divisional matchup as the Mets do battle with the Braves down in Atlanta. New York is coming off its first series loss of the season to the Nationals at the beginning of this week. And the NBA playoffs also continue tonight with a trio of Game 3s. In the Eastern Conference, the upstart 76ers look to regain their series lead over the veteran Heat. Star Philly center Joel Embiid has been cleared to play after missing 3 weeks with an orbital fracture. Then in the West, both the Pelicans and Warriors try to take a commanding 3-0 series lead tonight. Anthony Davis and New Orleans take on the Trailblazers at 9, and Kevin Durant and the Dubs square off with the Spurs at 9:30. And a trio of games in the NBA tonight, but just the pair in the NHL. Leading off the night are the Bruins and the Maple Leafs, with Boston trying to take a stranglehold on the series, already up 2-1. And just about a half hour after the first whistle in that one, we'll see the Blue Jackets host the Capitals in Ohio. Columbus is also trying to get out to a 3-1 series lead. Back in the NBA, one of the most entertaining men in sports media may be on his way to the sidelines. According to Stephen A. Smith, TNT's Kenny the Jet Smith will be interviewing for the Knicks head coaching vacancy. Smith enjoyed an 11-year career in the NBA, but has never coached in the league. And now moving over to some much sadder coaching news. Less than 24 hours after his wife Erin died after a long battle with illness, Spurs head coach Greg Popovich will not coach Game 3 of San Antonio's playoff series with the Warriors tonight. Assistant coach Ettore Messina will fill in for Pop this evening. Moving things over to football, former Jets wide receiver Brandon Marshall is now also a former Giants wide receiver. New York released the 6-time Pro Bowler this afternoon after GM Dave Gettleman says he failed a physical. Marshall played just 5 games last year before suffering a season-ending ankle injury. Meanwhile, in other NFL news, the league will release its 2018 schedule later this evening on NFL Network, but the Jets already know how they'll get their season started. New York is set to start the 2018 campaign on September 10th in primetime as it takes on the Lions on Monday Night Football. The entire NFL season will kick off a few days earlier on Thursday night when the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles host the Falcons. And rounding out the wild day of NFL news, former Syracuse football player Dwight Freeney announced his decision to retire today. The 16-year NFL veteran and 7-time Pro Bowler is expected to sign with the Indianapolis Colts, who he spent most of his legendary career with. He will then immediately retire.
Thanks, JD. After the break, we'll have reporter Greg Bradbury live at Schine with more on the continuing Theta Tau story. Stay tuned.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where do cats go on vacation? New York.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. We have continuing coverage of the Theta Tau fraternity incident that resulted in the fraternity's suspension.
Citrus TV's Greg Bradbury is live at the Schine Student Center where more protests are planned tomorrow. Greg, what exactly is being planned?
Yeah, guys, well, right here in the Schine Student Center, starting tomorrow at 8 a.m., students will be organizing a sit-in. Following that portion of the sit-in, they will then mobilize and move towards the quad and ultimately end up at the steps of Hendricks Chapel, where they will then occupy those steps throughout the day. Now, tomorrow is Admitted Students Day, so a lot of students who are looking at Syracuse University will be here throughout the day tomorrow. And, the goal of having it tomorrow is to really show the administration that, they want change, and for the admitted students to see what is going on here on campus. They hope that this is going to cultivate that change. Now, earlier today, some Citrus TV people talked with some of the student organizers, and here's what they had to say.
Today is step one. This is by no means the end of what we're doing. This is just our first step in organizing and mobilizing. We're going to be going to the chapel to facilitate a discussion and figure out more of our goals and our demands, and you can expect a lot more of this in the future.
Another student organizer thinks that tomorrow's event is important to inform students that might be coming to Syracuse next year about the current climate of the school.
I was truly disgusted, absolutely and thoroughly disgusted by what I saw in that video. And it's incidents like these that made me realize that the university may not live up to the words that it tells its incoming students about diversity, equality, and fairness, but it reaffirmed my reasons to fight to fix the school until they really can stand by those words, because those values are what got me to come to Syracuse in the first place.
So, Greg, what are some of the goals of these organizers?
They want to stop the rhetoric of, we hear you, and instead turn that into action. And they hope, because it is Admitted Students Day, the administration will really listen to them and hope some change will occur.
Now, Greg, what exactly is planned for the future?
Yeah, well, tomorrow the College of Engineering and Computer Science will not have class from 12 to 2. Instead, they will be holding an open forum where all students are going to attend and really discuss all of the events that have occurred. And in addition to that, on Monday at 7 o'clock, SA will be having a meeting where they will be discussing this topic in depth. Citrus TV will keep you updated on this developing story throughout the weekend, and of course on Monday as well when that SA event happens. Reporting live from the Schine Student Center, Greg Bradbury, Citrus TV News.
Thanks so much, Greg.
Citrus TV will be right back.
What are you, superheroes?
Just four brothers who hate bullies and love this city.
Whoa!
Gear up, guys.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. Toys from your childhood could be given new life as park benches and playgrounds. Hasbro, one of the largest toy manufacturers in the country, is launching a recycling program with the company TerraCycle.
That's right. Donated toys will be turned into material for park benches, flower pots, and playgrounds. You can sign up by visiting HasbroToyRecycling.com.
Then you'll get a free shipping label and can send toys to their facility. If the program is successful, it'll be expanded across the globe. And
Jack, I have so many toys at home that are just laying around unused since I, hypothetically grew up. So it's great to know that there is, a use for them going forward.
Absolutely. As a lifetime Toy Story fan, this is not the way that I thought that toys would come to life eventually in my lifetime, but it's certainly a great cause.
It's a very nice project.
And that is all the time we have on Citrus TV News. Be sure to follow our continuing coverage of the Theta Tau incident on our Twitter at CitrusTV News and our website, citrustv.com.
For Jack and everyone at Citrus TV, I'm Conor Wight. Have a great evening, Syracuse.